broken baker, where crimes are baked in every show. Mysteries rise and truth unfolding. Ready, set, it's time to go. We sing it's time to go. Whistling clues, battering news, mixing stories, solving the lies. In this kitchen, secrets are broken, with a spark in our eyes. In the broken baker's kitchen, the secrets crumble like sunrise. We'll sift through clues to find the news, with a spark in our eyes. The broken arise. Broken arise. Welcome to the broken baker. Get ready. Let's go.
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
The most important people in this case that everybody seems to have forgotten in this room is the jury. So we're going to take a 15-minute break and both sides take a pregnant pause and think about the jury.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you are. And welcome to this little out of the ordinary stream. Normally, when we read lawsuits, it's mostly criminal cases. Someone isn't breeding anymore in most of the cases, or someone has treated their spouse or kid really bad. This is a civil suit. It's actually two civil suits filed by Garth Brooks, and an unknown hairdresser, makeup artist. It's kind of a, as it is in most of these, a he said, she said thing. I saw it this morning, made a short video on it, been reading the allegations. What is kind of weird is Garth filed a lawsuit before she did to protect himself, which we don't normally see in these kind of cases. There's allegations about SA, rape, battery, and according to Garth's side, it's an attempt to get money, extort him. On the other side, it's a charge that he did serious damage to this woman. Sadly, it's filed in California, so it's probably not going to be televised. But I thought, because I asked people when I did my short video if I should read it, and a lot of people said, please do. So let's do it to it. After saying hey to Christine and Wendy Adamek, brokenhearted. Thank you so much. Yes, I spent my day with my daughters, and I had a chimichanga for the first time in my life. It was a good eat. Little bland. Then I put on some habanero sauce. That made it better. Hello, Carol. And Mike Hunt. Not Mike Hunt. Queen Olive and Stalin. Helen from Holland. Esprit Fleck. And Peter A. No, I actually didn't miss you that much. I had a wonderful day with my sister-in-law and my kids, and sadly my oldest boyfriend was there too, but what can you do? Hey, Dina. And ADHD. Morning. It's evening. It's 6 o'clock. Hey, Gerda. And Panilla. Special K. And Jedi Jess, who will be joining me tomorrow for a rundown of the legal defense in the Sarah Boone case. She will be there with all the good hot legal takes. It'll be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard tomorrow. Hopefully you'll join us there too. No, I changed my my camera the other day, so I'm not so orange, and I have more light in the background now, so it should be easier for the camera to figure out. Hey, Phoebe, Cronuts. Ugh. I'd be so disappointed if it's true. Saw him in concert in Dublin. He was so good. Let's read through it and see where we stand after, because as I said in my video, I'm kind of smelling an JDAH situation, but again, none of us were there. It will be interesting. Hey, Laurie from Massachusetts. Glad you're doing this. I'm a big Garth fan, so I hope it's all untrue. Curious how you hold someone upside down by the ankle. Don't spoilers, no spoilers. No, it was a Mexican chimichanga. We were at it's called social, I think it was called social dinner or something, where there was a lot of small food stands, and my oldest and I had Mexican, my sister-in-law and my youngest had some, what do you call them, the sushi bowls thing, and the guy we don't talk about had I think it was French food. Always a little suspicious when someone is suing for money instead of reporting a crime. That's one of the things I have been thinking about too. Well, I'm glad to oblige, Katie. Well, my daughter's birthday was the 30th. Has anyone seen the conspiracy theory about GB, the serial unaliver, that there is an unsolved unaliver film? No. I don't know much about country music. Hey, thank you, Wendy Bono. It's coming together. I need my Jodi Arias picture somewhere over here. Maybe over here. I need something for this wall. Hey, Melissa. Hills of Western Mass. She claims he erased her message. That was suspicious. Shaquille Oatmeal, don't believe her. If she's telling the truth, I'll apologize. Let's try and read it and see, because again, she shed. No, we don't have a she shed. I don't know enough about any of these people to have any firm belief of anything, but the funny thing is he filed this motion before she filed her motion. So he's calling it John Doe versus Jane Roe to keep the names out of it. She doesn't do that. She names him by name, which to me is also a little sus. But the reason why he's filing it is to obtain relief from defendants' ongoing attempted extortion, defamation, false light invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress through outrageous conduct, including the publication and threatened wider publication of false allegations of sexual misconduct that would irreparably harm plaintiff's reputation, family, career, and livelihood. Plaintiff is an adult resident citizen of Tennessee. Plaintiff brings this action under the pseudonym John Doe to avoid the irreparable harm to reputation that he seeks to prevent through this action. Plaintiff will disclose his identity to the court through a sealed in-camera filing or as the court otherwise deem appropriate. Defendant is an adult resident citizen in Mississippi. The complaint uses the pseudonym Jane Roe for defendant to avoid unnecessarily harming her reputation. Plaintiff will disclose defendant's identity to court through a sealed in-camera filing or as the court otherwise deems appropriate. I don't want to believe it. Both sides look sus, in my opinion. It could be. Thank you for being a member for 7 months. Yes, you did, and you offered to give one away as well. Hey, Sebastian. Bom dia, Marcy from Portugal. Well, I don't know if our beloved Garth Brooks may be a real bad dude. Everyone might be a real bad dude, but allegations is allegations, facts are facts, and so far, all of this is allegations. Hey, DC from Northwest Pacific. The court has subject matter jurisdiction under 28 USC 1332 because complete diversity of citizenship exists between the parties and an amount in controversy exceeds the sum of 75,000 exclusive of interest and cost. Venue is proper under 28 USC 1391 because defendant resides in this judicial district and division. Facts. Plaintiff is a celebrity and public figure who resides in Tennessee. Defendant worked professionally with plaintiff as an independent contractor for approximately 15 years before she relocated from Tennessee to Mississippi in May 2020. Soon after moving to Mississippi, defendant apparently encountered financial difficulties and asked plaintiff for financial assistance. Plaintiff complied out of loyalty, friendship, and a desire to improve defendant's condition. But defendant's demands for financial assistance only increased, with defendant ultimately asking plaintiff for salaried employment and medical benefits. When plaintiff advised he could not agree to defendant's demands for salaried employment and medical benefits, she responded with false and outrageous allegations of sexual misconduct she claims occurred years ago. And that's one of the things if you have any evidence of that, I think that'll be really good. If he has emails talking about, hey, can you help me out? It's really bad. We have the coup. I can't work. Can you put me on a salary? I'm losing my medical benefits. That'll probably be really good for him, especially if she then replies to an email saying, if you don't pay, I'm going to say you did this back then. Because the alleged crimes are quite old. Specifically on July 17th, an attorney acting as defendant's direction sent plaintiff and others with whom plaintiff professionally worked on ostensibly confidential demanding letter alleging a litany of sexual misconduct by plaintiff, reaching from allegations of sexual grooming, creation of sexually hostile work environment, unwanted sexual touching, and sexual assault. Defendant also alleged a belief that plaintiff planned to hire someone to unalive her. The July 17th demand letter was the first time plaintiff learned of these allegations, none of which has any basis in facts. Anything is possible. Cray, cray, all day. Exactly, Jen Pookie. Because I don't know. Maybe the Me Too has backfired so much that, and this is hard as a dad for two girls to say, but don't believe all women. Because what we have seen used, or the Me Too movement used to, especially with the AH case, I think most of us is sitting here thinking, really want to see some hard evidence. But again, this is the defendant's side of the story. Defendant threatened it in the July 17th demand letter to publicly file an enclosed draft civil complaint against plaintiff, repeating the same fabricated allegations unless unless plaintiff agreed to pay defendant millions of dollars not to file the suit. The letter referred to various celebrity sexual misconduct lawsuits featuring multi-million dollar jury awards. And that's another weird thing. You're going straight to the money. If you have all of these claims, wouldn't you go criminal? That, to me, that's one of those things that makes me go, does she not want justice? Do she just want a big fat settlement check? I don't know. To me, it's just I don't know. But it seems weird that you're sending a threat to disclose all of this if you don't get paid. Why don't you just do the right thing if he has done all the things you alleged and get him behind bars so he can't do it to anyone else? Apparently he was he was a hound dog back in the 90s with his first wife. In a follow-up letter dated August 23rd, defendant, through her attorney, offered to refrain from publicly filing her false and defamatory lawsuit against plaintiff in exchange for multi-million-dollar payment. She threatened that if plaintiff failed to meet this demand, he would face exposure of many millions of dollars based on his net worth. Defendant's allegations are not true. Defendant is well aware, however, of the substantial irreparable damage such false allegations would do to plaintiff's well-earned reputation as a decent and caring person, along with the unavoidable damage to his family and the irreparable damage to his career and livelihood that would result if she made good on her threat to publicly file her fabricated lawsuit. Indeed, such knowledge no doubt explains why defendant threatened to file through a confidential demand letter rather than simple filing suit to redress her alleged but untrue injuries. Yeah, that's the big thing for me. That's another thing. Yeah, but also so could Diddy, but Diddy also did a lot of stupid things allegedly. But if there was any charge about SA, it would have been back then, not now. Yeah, that's the beauty about a civil suit, because you can file that now. It's way easier to get a civil suit to go through than a criminal suit, because that'll open a whole new avenue. So I believe he cheated on Trisha. He cheated on the mother of his daughter with that howling horse. Is that his new wife? I don't know her well enough. Hey, Nonya. Garth Brooks' wife, Trisha Yearwood, had allegedly heard her husband request a oh, well, that's from her filings. Let's wait with those until we get to that. I'll read both lawsuits, B. Jefferson. So let's wait and see what's in there, because allegedly JD also drug AH by the hair, used a. Do I have that bottle still? Used one of these bottles on her without her needing medical help after. So, again, everything on paper is good, but anyone who knows how a Maker's Mark bottle looks knows that if JD had used that the way AH claimed, she either needs to do a lot of Kegels or she must have been lying. Claims for relief. Defendant's publication of such false allegations and for her threat to file a lawsuit more vitally publicizing such false allegation against plaintiff has given rise to the justifiable controversy between the parties, entitling plaintiff to a declaratory judgment pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 2201 that defendant's allegations of sexual misconduct are untrue. Defendant's false allegation and her threats to wrongfully assassinate plaintiff's character through the public airing of such revulsive and untrue allegation has caused plaintiff emotional distress, including anxiety and fear for himself and his family. Defendant's attempted extortion of plaintiffs for millions of dollars through such untrue, lewd allegations constitutes intentionally outrageous conduct that was intended to and did in fact cause plaintiff serious mental injury, amounting to an intentional infliction of emotional distress for which plaintiff is entitled to recover compensatory and punitive damages. Defendant has defamed plaintiff by intentionally publishing her July 17 letter and enclosed draft complaint containing these false allegations of sexual misconduct to persons other than plaintiff. Defendant intentionally published these statements to others with knowledge that the statements was false and defamatory. Defendant's publication of these defamatory statements was not privileged but was made with malice, ill will, and for the improper purpose of extorting an unwarranted payment from plaintiff. Defendant's intentional defamation of plaintiffs entitled plaintiffs to recover compensatory and punitive damages. Probably not a lot you can get from her. I don't believe over 100 people have come forward on Diddy. They are trying to take him down. Yeah, I heard something about 120 people. I tried looking it up, and they said they will come forward next week. So again, when there's an open target, you just shoot at it, and hopefully you'll win the jackpot. I get like 8 people to watch me play a stupid video game if I want. My life goals are complete. Well, you don't play your stupid video game, and you don't stream anymore. Farrell streams more than you do. I don't seem chipper. Did something break me? No, I just don't like stuff like this because I think, again, I'm a father of 2 young women. I have had many nights where I have worried what could have happened. Because I know how men are, especially young men. And I also do cases like this, not like this because we don't do criminal cases. And I have seen women. My latest case was a 14-year-old SA victim. And that kills something in your soul. I had a case with, I believe, 8 victims of the same guy. One of them was so mentally destroyed that her makeup looked more like one of those kabuki masks they wear in Japanese theater. Clearly, she was hiding from the world. And I think one false allegation ruins a lot for a lot of women. And reading this, again, this is his part of the story, but also what I read from her. I'm tilting to money grab. And if it's a money grab, you have set other women with legitimate gripes, even further back. You have set them back, so we would be even less likely to believe them when they come forward. That's why I'm probably not as chipper as I normally am, because I can joke about a lot of things. But I fear that the great word is thrown around way too often on a basis of absolutely nothing. And looking into the eyes of real victims, you leave a part of your soul there too. Well, I have been myself as I'm normally am, but some days you just get a little bit. Um, some things just hit you harder than others. Defendant's malicious publication of a false allegations of sexual misconduct also places plaintiff in the false light that would be highly offensive to any reasonable person. Defendant intentionally published these statements with knowledge of their falsity and with knowledge of the false light in which the statement would place plaintiff. Defendant's publication of these false allegations was not privileged but was made with malice, ill will, and for the improper purpose of extorting an unwarranted payment from plaintiff. Defendant's intentionally false light invasion of privacy entitled plaintiff to recover compensatory and punitive damages. Again, probably not a lot to get there. Plaintiff is also entitled to preliminary and permanent injunctive relief prohibiting defendant from continuing her attempted extortion, defamation, and false light invasion of privacy, and from making good of her threats to more widely publicize her false allegations against plaintiff. Plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm to his reputation, his family, and his career and livelihood if defendant is not so enjoined. Monetary damages cannot adequately compensate plaintiffs for these injuries. Defendant will suffer no hardship from an injunction of a wrongful conduct, while plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm if no injunction is issued. Finally, the public interest will not be diserved by the requested injunction because the public has no interest in furthering defendant's extraordinary scheme through the publication of a false and salacious allegation. Accordingly, plaintiff requests that the court award him with the following relief: a declaratory judgment that defendant's allegation against him of sexual misconduct is untrue, compensatory damages approximately caused by the defendant's intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, and false light invasion of privacy, including incidental and consequential damages. Punitive damages in an amount sufficient to deter similar future behavior. Preliminary and permanent injunctive relief prohibiting defendant from continuing her extortionate behavior and from further publicizing her false allegation against plaintiff. Plaintiff's reasonable cost and attorney fees, pre-judgment and post-judgment interest, and such other relief as the court deems appropriate. Plaintiff demands a trial by jury. This is dated September 13th. So this is the Garth Brooks attempt to squash Jane Roe's lawsuit, because and that's the thing I don't really get is this lawsuit against him is filed in California, a state that has changed their laws after all the Hollywood scandals broke. But none of them are residing in California. So how is that possible? Probably need someone with a lawyer degree to tell me how she can sue in a state. I know she alleges the rape happened in California, but both of them were residing in Tennessee, and now she's residing in Mississippi. So how can she file this in California when she's not living there? Yes, one of the alleged crimes happened in California, but this is a civil suit again. It's not a criminal suit, and we have a famous YouTube lawsuit going on, and I know they had a lot of talk about change of venues for, was it the defendant's home state or the accuser's home state's laws they were going by. So why can, as none of them lives there, none of them has a residency in California. So how? Yeah, but can you do that when it's just a civil suit and not all of the crime happened in California? We are just getting to what he's being accused of. Okay, they are charged, but he's not charged with a crime. He's charged with a civil matter. It's not a crime he's charged with. This is a civil suit. That's why, yeah, but that was the reason they had it in the state they had it in was because of that newspaper that brought the case against him. No, she wrote the op-ed in. They had their office there, so they could put the venue there because it was promoted. It was technically put out in that state. That's why they had that state that case in that state, because that's where the headquarter of the newspaper was. No, but that again, that was the newspaper that brought the defamatory statements against JD was in Virginia. In Texas, the civil suit is based on where defendant lives. Yeah, and I think in the Rackets case, they filed it in his state as well because that's where he lives, and they wanted to change venue to where Monty lives, and I think they ruled that it must be where the plaintiff is. They should say how in the complaint, but it'll be the first thing Garth's attorneys goes after. Washington Post, was it Washington Post? I can't remember. Yeah, it was published through the servers in Virginia. That's why they could change the venue to there. I think they tried to put it in California because California have changed their rules, so that it's even harder to fight it there. I don't think a house is enough. I think you have to have primary residence. M to you as well. But let's see. Attorneys for plaintiff Jane Roe, Superior Court of the State of Califas, Los Angeles, Stanley Moss Courthouse. Unlimited jurisdiction, complaint for damages, assault battery, sexual battery, Civil Code 1708-5, Bain Act, Civil Code 52-1, Ralph Act, Civil Code 51.7, Gender Violence, Civil Code 52.4C2. Demand for jury trial. Plaintiff Jane Roe. Plaintiff or Miss Roe hereby submits a complaint against defendant Garth Brooks, defendant or Brooks, and alleges as follows. So from the get-go, they put his name out there. The Washington Post would say, yeah, thank you. That's why it was, it has to be where the defendant lived or where the claim occurred. But then she can only charge him with the alleged crimes from California, not what might have happened in Tennessee then. No, this isn't criminal. This is civil court. But yeah, and when they don't go for criminal, to me that's a red flag. I have to say it, and again, This is my opinion. All y'all can have a different. We're going to do a poll in the end. But to me, and name dropping him in the lawsuit, his lawsuit was filed before to try and get an injunction on this. They went straight ahead and dropped his name out there because they know Me Too was a thing. Headlines is a thing. You need both personal and subject matter jurisdiction, and my brain doesn't really want to revisit civil procedure. Have subject matter jurisdiction been addressed? That's we need to establish subject matter jurisdiction. But preliminary statement in 1999, so that's 25 years ago. Plaintiff was hired to do the makeup and hairstyling for the Grammy Award-winning artist Trisha Yearwood. Don't know her. Probably great, probably not great. I don't know her. Miss Rowe continued to work for Miss Yearwood over the years, as well as for many other celebrities. Just dropping it in there. And in 2017, she started to do makeup and hairstyling for Garth Brooks, Miss Yearwood's husband. So at least 7 years. By 2019, after Brooks learned that Miss Rowe was experiencing financial difficulties, he hired Miss Rowe more often. She was grateful for the additional income and thanked him repeatedly. It did not take long for Brooks to take advantage of her financial hardship. Brooks seized what he saw as an opportunity to subject a female employee to a side of Brooks that he conceals from the public. This side of Brooks believes he is entitled to sexual gratification when he wants it, and using a female employee to get it is fair game. That entire sentence, I can't see what that has to do with anything other than make a headline. The way they wrote paragraph 3, I see that as this is for the papers. One day in 2019, when Miss Rowe was at Brooks' house, so that'll be in Tennessee, to style his hair and do his makeup, she looked up in horror as Brooks walked out of the shower naked with a boner, and pointed his peni at Miss Rowe, came directly toward her. He grabbed her hands and forced them onto his erect peni. Brooks appealingly told Miss Rowe that he had fantasized about the moment and wanted her to perform oral on him so that he could come all over her face, specifically while she had her glasses on. Okay. I know it's the thing with the glasses. I don't understand it. I never understood that thing. Shocked and confused, Miss Rowe pulled back and said she was not going to do what he wanted. Knowing that she needed the work, however, Brooks correctly predicted that Miss Rowe did not leave. Girl, you can call the police at that time. Hey, hospice, Jess, yeah. That's talent to point with it. It is. She just made that little detail up just to make it seem like it was authentic. Do they know each other? And if so, how long? She started working for his wife 25 years ago. Or 20 years before this has happened. Who's going to believe a nobody over a celebrity? Well, she must be quite famous in the celebrity world because she does makeup on lots of them. But I'm going to say something very, very demeaning to all you ladies now, so please close your ears. If I was Garth Brooks and I was at any venue, I played a concert, I bet you, without even trying to look, I could throw my room key out there and at least 10, 22-year-old girls would catch it and use it. I can't tell you how old this lady is, and some guys like them old. But if he has known her for, at this point, 20 years, and all of a sudden he thinks, oh my, put those glasses on, mommy, and I'll spray them. Does it seem... I have a hard time believing that Bret Michaels, no, not Bret Michaels, who's the guy who used to bang Pamela Anderson, that he goes around and think, where's the 50-year-old ladies at if he can get a 22-year-old? That's, yeah. No, 20 years is the time they had known each other in 2019, because she started working for his wife in 1999. She has worked for him in 7 years. Well, we don't know. She could be right. I don't know anything. Yeah, but she needed the money. Tommy Lee. Brett's the one who did it. Well, at least 45 to 50. And as a man who's 27 years old and is famous, and we all know groupies, would you go for in-house groupie? Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger banged a maid. We don't know what happened. Where he had to file something because she was threatening to say all. What? No, Danny. So one is working for Garth Brooks. One can leave and get a job with any other celebrity because of her resume. She stated it was financial reasons she didn't quit. She could have went anywhere, gotten a job. Well, she did it for a lot of celebrities, but apparently it didn't go well. Yes, I know he was a hound dog. But again, we have seen that with a lot of actors and musicians as well, who then went on to have long relationships with their second or third wife. Again, I wasn't there. I'm just saying some of this seems like maybe you turn it up a little notch so you know it'll hit the front page. But in May 2019, Brooks asked her to travel to LA with him for a Grammy tribute to Sam Moore. Usually there were others on Brooks' private jet, but this time Miss Rowe and Brooks were the only two passengers. Once in LA at the hotel, Miss Rowe could not believe that Brooks had booked a hotel suite with one bedroom and she did not have a separate room. After they arrived, suddenly Brooks appeared in the doorway to the bedroom, completely naked. He stood there and flexed his muscles. Miss Rowe immediately had a sick feeling in her stomach, knowing she was trapped in the room alone with Brooks, with no one to help her and far away from Nashville. Tragically, her worst fears came true when seconds later he was towering over her, his 6 foot and almost 300-pound frame ready to pounce on Miss Rowe, who is less than 5 feet and 100 pounds. As she began to panic, he grabbed her hands and pulled her into the next room and onto the bed where she could not escape his physical domination. What? They were right in the doorway to the bedroom. Come here. So she was in the living room. He came out of the bedroom, pulled her into the bedroom. Okay. Brooks' grip of Miss Rowe was painful and traumatic. Having no regard for her well-being and intent of his own sexual gratification at the expense of Miss Rowe's physical, mental, and emotional trauma at some point during the nightmare. Brooks even held her small body upside down by her feet and how do you do that? held her by her feet and penetrated her. I'm too old to try all the new stuff. Too vanilla to do that. How does that work? So what they're claiming is he held her upside down and still how can I can't figure that one out. Any 100-pound ladies out there, we can. It's just for science, and we'll try it so we can do a demonstration. Danny T really wants a demonstration, so that'll be on my OF channel. Yeah. I don't. How do you do that? No one heard her scream in a very expensive hotel. He's 62. Yeah. Straight out of a Mills and Boon novel. I don't know what that is. I should have Mo on to explain this. It's probably in one of her novels. Yeah. Marcia Braga, me too. Irish, you're a lady of much traveling. Have you ever heard about stuff like this? I haven't. I'm too vanilla for this. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, and I missed the super chat. Thank you, Hospice. Yes, I will most likely get demonetized on this one. Yes, but it's worth it because now I don't only need to find a girlfriend. I need to find 100-pound girlfriend and do the. I can't figure out how to work. Maybe if he was, and she was doing ab exercises, pretending the starfish, maybe. That's one of those we have to figure out at some point. Someone way younger than me and way more agile will have to figure that one out. Apparently, his pointer is also a go-go gadget. Could be. Very flexible, maybe. It's a new one. No, the wheelbarrow I can understand because then you'll just do that one. But upside down? Not to gaslight, but the way the story is told, it sounds like the writer was trying to sell naughty books. Yeah, that's yoga. Mm-hmm. It was 25 years ago too. No, this was in 2019. So this is 5 years ago when he was a man in his late 50s. Just let it be. No, I can't let it be. Now I have to try it. Maybe his points down, but still, maybe he's very well endowed. That's the Leonardo DiCaprio way. You're missing out, Nicola, and know that. Oh, you're missing out, Nicola, and they don't read like this. Okay, do a Lego demo of it. I don't think I can figure out how to work it. Well, he's 6 foot tall, so no, this wasn't in 1919. It was in 2019. 2019. She started working for Yearwood in 1999. This allegedly happened in 2019. Hey, Debbie Blair. Well, this wasn't the time where he liked to clean her glasses. Yeah, I'll be streaming from a hospital. I already have 2 herniated discs. I would get more. Have you seen Chuck Norris? He's in his 80s. Yeah. Maybe. Nope. if he had her in one leg, so, and she was agile enough to do the split, that could work. But how would you get any traction? Ladies, you're taking me down a dark road. Small upside, yeah, because it says small body upside down by her feet and it went into her. She was helpless to move from his grip and terrified at what was happening to her, while he held her upside down, dangling by her ankles. All the blood rushed to her head, causing her to be dizzy and sick, while Brooks forcefully her. He said perverted things to Miss Rowe about his sexual prowess. Jamie, are you out there? Jamie, you read dirty novels. Can you explain this to me? If I send you a link, can you come on and tell me how this works? That's yeah, because how? What? A 20-year-old Googled Venus from a work computer yesterday. I almost died. Search result: slang for elbow. Maybe she was like hanging off the bed or like a sofa. No, because she's upside down dangling. That's a dangling motion by her ankles. Yes, please, Jamie. What? Well, Brooks also repeatedly slammed his into her vajayjay, causing Miss Brooks' back to keep hitting his body over and over with such force she felt as if he was breaking her in two. Disgustingly, Brooks insisted that Miss Rowe wear her eyeglasses while he carried out his sexual assault fantasy. Sorry, I hadn't read that part. So upside down, dangling by her ankles with her glasses on, while he slams into her vajayjay, so her back keeps hitting his body. That makes no sense. No sense. Milu, I'll do that in my refractory period. Yeah. Well, he didn't leave his wife. He's still with his second wife. So yeah. Anyone got a copy of the Kama Sutra? Does it give this as an example? What a picture. I'm trying to sit here and should I try and do it on the whiteboard? And I can't physically figure out how dangling while forcefully, because she would be a pendulum. And I don't know how well endowed he is, but even with my 6 inches, I think it would slip out if I did the monkey bars on her. I don't know if Jamie is up for it today, but I'll send her a link. The comments on this one have been interesting on videos. Yeah. I'm gonna sneeze. Whew. With cold disregard for Miss Rowe, when Brooks was finished, it was business as usual. Miss Rowe worked quickly to style his hair and do his makeup for the event, so he was on time. At least she didn't need to smoke after. Brooks subjected Miss Rowe to other appealing sexual conduct, all of which took place while Miss Rowe was working for him. That includes, but not limiting to, the following. Now we get to the good part. Brooks openly talked about sexual subjects in front of Miss Rowe, including, for example, cunnilingus. Brooks regularly changed his clothing in front of Miss Rowe and often purposefully exposed his genitalia and buttocks to Miss Rowe, knowing that she would respond with a look of horror and disgust. Brooks repeated the sexual fantasy he said when he came out of the shower with an and forced her hands on his penile to Miss Rowe and forced her to listen to other sexual fantasies he had about her performing sexual acts on him. Brooks sends Miss Rowe sexually exhibit text messages and pressured her to engage in sexting with him. Hopefully she hit those. That would be really, really good. Of course she did, Eileen. She's a professional. You're not a professional artist, Holly Mack. She is. If, again, violently swinging from your ankle so much that your back hits him and it's hurt and you are being raped, and then he finishes and said, hey, get me ready. You just turn around, put up your hair and makeup and say, oh, you're looking good now, Mr. Brooks. Wouldn't you be almost unconscious? I use that, I don't know if any of you know that contraption where you lock your feet in and then you can tilt it over to stretch my spine. I can't stay in that position for more than a minute. I'll get dizzy. She started out, I don't know if she does it still. Yeah, hopefully she has the message. Maybe they're in here somewhere. We'll get on to that. After the sexual assault in Los Angeles, Brooks increased the frequency of saying his sexual fantasies about her aloud, along with his physical gropings of her testicles while she was doing his hair and makeup. Again, a 45, 50-year-old woman. He could probably find younger and perkier testicles on the road. Other sexual explicit remarks by Brooks, including him telling Miss Rowe that he had ucked multiple women in every corner of a hotel room, white, black, brown, or whatever, and also said that he had done so on every surface in a hotel room. Brooks' increased frequency of his sexual charged conversations included his repeated remarks about having a threesome with his wife, Miss Yearwood, in which he suggested that Miss Rowe would be the third person, which Miss Rowe believes Brooks' wife overheard at least one occasion. So his wife is a witness. She is less than 100 pounds. Yeah. Well, the wife should participate. Yeah, I know. This is how I'm gonna take a shower after. Yeah, and again, the more ridiculous the sexual positions, the less likely. If she had just said he forced me on the bed and it finished within a minute, I would say, oh, seems true. He's 6 feet, yes. Brooks has enough money to pay for this if that was what he wanted. Yeah, and they would keep quiet. On too many occasions to list, Brooks would lasciviously stare at Miss Rowe's breasticles and pressure Miss Rowe to open her shirt to allow him to physically touch her breasticles for purpose of his arousal, after which Brooks would then self-pleasure. And regarding this, Brooks, who said he would take care of himself, also told Miss Rowe he could not let her see because when I come, it's gallons. Oh my. That's a lot. That's more than I do. Eileen, member for 4 months. We are going to need a second mannequin for this. Bender is. I'm gonna have to find a Miss Bender to figure this one out. Diane G, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships to D. Robinson, Emma, Shaquille Oatmeal, Mattia Braga. Thank you so much, Diane G. Well, she needed the money. She have to. She would have to be, and he have to be the whole. Yeah. Gallons. That's too much cleanup. Yeah, you need 2 T-shirts for that one. Mob in aisle 1. Mob in aisle 1. Sounds more like 50 Shades more and more. I don't read middle-aged lady porn, so I don't know. What? I wonder if this is true. This is really pretty graphic. It is. Too much detail leads me to believe it's a lie, i.e. Amber Heard. Oh, I can't say that. Brutally raped, then take the time to do his hair and makeup. Yeah, right. The fact that he viewed her as a victim and something to conquer added to the height of his desire to control simple psych from a simple hairdresser. Me, in my opinion. Well, could be. I don't know. I think it's a little over the top, but who knows? I don't understand rich people. In late October 2019, Brooks brought Miss Rowe to LA for 5 days, during which he physically groped her body, including her breasticles. Miss Rowe was terrified to be in a hotel again, worried that he would force himself on her. Her fears were justified, as one morning when Miss Rowe went to Brooks' room to do his hair and makeup, he was on the bed, face down, wearing loose shorts and holding his crotch, and made it clear that he wanted to do what he had done before in Los Angeles with Miss Rowe on May 11th. Miss Rowe managed to escape the situation because he was running late and people were waiting to pick him up. At times, Brooke implied the groping of her testicles would continue despite Miss Rowe insisting this was unwanted. For example, one time when he said while groping her, "Next time we mess around," and Miss Rowe clearly said no, he became visibly angry at Miss Rowe and left. The frequency was such that it was inevitable that other employees of Brooks likely saw or heard instances of the unwanted physical groping of her breasticles while she was styling his hair and doing his makeup. So you have all the witnesses. That's nice. In or about May 2020, Brooks, while speaking to his manager and with his wife also present directly in front of Miss Rowe, talked about inventing a shampoo bottle that could double as a female pleasuring device. When Miss Rowe became uncomfortable and would not join in the conversation, Brooks became upset and slammed his fist down on the kitchen counter in frustration so hard that items on the counter moved, and he leaned in and spoke in a threatening manner to Miss Rowe. Following this incident, Miss Rowe sent a text to Mr. Brooks. Luckily, we now have our adult sexual expert on the line.
No, I did not come here to explain anything to you. I just came here to keep you on track.
Jamie, in any of your books, have you heard about the pendulum?
Yeah.
How does it work? Which,
It works
which,
well. Yeah.
Which end? Both ends? Explain it, Jamie. It don't make no sense.
I like the way you explain it.
Yeah, because I can't explain it. SJ Howard is wondering how many people out there is trying that position now. Yeah,
Yeah.
how many is saying, Yeah, I bet my husband. Yeah, he's a big strapping fella. It could be fun. This would probably be the most sexual gratifying position to be in.
I feel like that's a lot of work for a little payout.
I'm saying again, it would be easier to believe if it was come in here, pull her on the bed, pull her skirt aside, and 2 minutes later, gracias. But
Gracias.
this could work for small. Yeah. If any of you guys come into the bedroom tonight and you're hearing, I have friends in low places, you know, the lady is wanting a little bit of the pendulum.
Pendulum.
It was him who was over 300. She was under 100. I'm exaggerating. 30 seconds later. How many ER visits starts with, well, you see, I read this lawsuit against Garth Brooks, and but her upper body would have to be on the floor. No, because she was dangling by her ankles. Again, and again, a 300-pound man pushing a woman down that weighs less than 100 pounds. I buy that. But as a young strapping lad myself who liked to lift heavy stuff, I couldn't hold 100 pounds above my head while jerking forward and backward in a violent motion. I just don't have the shoulder strength for that. Any man over the age of, I have to be careful now, 26, knows our shoulders turn into glass. We can't do this. It whew. Yeah, and how would you get? It's been a long time since I've been in a relationship, but kind of seem to remember that the holes aren't easily accessible from if you have them upside down.
No.
That's.
No, it's not.
I can promise you, if he's 300 pounds, his pew is not very big. No, that's another problem. You can't be that tall and only weigh 100 pounds in my permission. No, it's. I think you're. Did she say any height?
Yeah, how big is this lady?
Miss Rowe, that is less than 5 feet and 100 pounds.
Okay.
And we were coming to the shampoo bottle that would double as a female pleasuring device. Well, he has dementia, so he probably couldn't do it either. Well, that's what I'm doing, Kickboxer's mom. I'm trying to educate the young folks how to do it.
This sounds so made up.
Yeah, at 59, I have to be careful with the groceries, let alone 100 pounds. It's I do farmer's walk with 88 pound dumbbells on either side, and I can walk like not that far, just forward and back. I couldn't have those. I couldn't keep 50-pound dumbbells stretched over my head while violently thrusting.
I can't take this.
This is an educational video. Thank you, Alice. Jimmy, I'm just trying to show
I
you.
didn't want to come on
youngsters
because I knew I was just going to laugh the whole time at you. This is supposed to be serious.
It is very serious.
But my God. Okay.
Let's get back to business. I have thought a lot about the conversation of last Monday. I can't work in an environment where explicit sexual comments are made about shampoo bottles doubling as female pleasuring devices. I mean you no harm, and if you truly value my work, I am happy to show up tomorrow and or when you may need my services. How many texts did she send? I really don't like you groping my testicles. But the shampoo female pleasure is too much. During the phone conversation on 2020, after she told Brooks that she was upset, he told his wife that Miss Rowe had seen his penile. Brooks tried to minimize what happened and said, "Oh, sweetheart, for one, I think I know Tricia pretty well, and she wasn't uncomfortable. And I said, you saw my stuff. That was it. We were talking about something, and it just came up. Look, I'm worried you are overthinking this." Again, if I'm getting a little on the side, I'll always tell my wife, just to make sure that I keep it hidden. After the sexual assault in Los Angeles, Brooks told Ms. Rowe about a mysterious text message he received in which a person claimed that Brooks had ruined his life. In a phone conversation about this text, Brooks said he had no ideas who had texted him the message and suggested that he thought it was Ms. Rowe's husband who had sent the text and tried to get her to reveal her husband's phone number. Any email, text message, and content on telephone conversations placed within quotations herein are direct quote from the documents and audio recordings. Oh my. Brooks told Ms. Rowe, "I never want to hurt anybody, so that one, the mysterious text, it bothered me. It bothered me. I didn't know the number." So let's go back and see. So they have him, and I said you saw my stuff. They have that on video. And they have this one where she talked about the shampoo bottle on tape. That's good. Still referring to the supposed text message, Brooks also said, "And that killed me. It broke my heart. Like God, I never want to hurt anybody. So I was scared to death." Brooks then started to talk about the fact that Miss Rowe had not worked for Brooks for several months. So he had one of his employees call her to see what was happening. And then, when they call you for work and you couldn't do it for 2 months, I thought, oh, crap. That's what I thought. Oh, crap. So I was trying to seek you out to come talk or whatever I needed to do. But just, I don't want to hurt anybody, man. And I just felt bad. Of course, Brooks knew that the sexual assault and rape that he had subjected Miss Rowe to in Los Angeles was bad. What? He doesn't mention that. He's referring to that text.
That's what. Okay.
And I just felt bad because she couldn't work for him. But again, still referring to the supposed text message. And then it's because he knew it was bad that he sexually assaulted her. And further, she had told him about the severe back and neck pain she was experiencing. Oh, we didn't hear about that before. Concerned about the repercussions if she denied him the ability to sexually force himself on her again, Miss Rose said on a call to Brooks in 2020, "I want to make sure that even though I told you no, that you're cool with no. I mean no as in no fooling around like we had done. You're cool with that, right?" But everything is on recording that's in quotation marks. So this doesn't look good for Garth Brooks, because he must have replied. She was fearful that despite what he had said, that Brooks was angry and upset with her. Miss Rose said, "When I saw you with another music artist, you were pretty upset with me." Incredibly, Brooks replies as follows: "No, I would never be upset with you. Look at it in this way, okay? Look at it. The best way I can explain it. Me and you broke into a jewelry store And the second we broke the door, we looked at each other and said, this isn't right. But we already had broken the door down, and so I think me and you get out and run and just hope that nobody ever finds out. Just love one another and be friends. Is that fair? What? Okay. Brooks told her in 2020, I work with the best and I don't want to do something stupid that breaks this team up. So I'll do whatever I need to do or do whatever I don't need to do. But I just want to keep working with you. But if you feel weird working with me, it's fine. We don't have to work together.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think they maybe had an affair and now she wants some moolah.
Yeah, maybe there was some fooling around. Maybe there was I don't maybe there was some fondling, maybe there was some illicit thing going on in LA that they weren't supposed to do, but hey, both of us are married, both of us are away, let's do it. Still, why pick a 40, 50-year-old woman you work with, who works with your wife, who knows your wife? But again, Arnold banged the maid. And but I don't read any, if they have all of this as they supposed to have on text, none of this is kind of great to me. It's just yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like he's just trying to be like, backtrack a little bit. Maybe they like kissed, maybe they went a little farther, and
maybe she came on to him and he said, oh, what the hell. And now she wanted more and he wouldn't give it to her.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. Yeah.
He said, we did something wrong, but we'll run away from it, as in stop. Yeah, maybe, as he said, we kicked in the door. Maybe he grabbed her ass or grabbed one of her testicles, or she tried to kiss him or something like that. Or maybe some of them did something and they realized, no, this goes no further. That's what I read in the stealing the jewelry store thing.
Yeah.
They knew it was wrong, so we didn't do it.
Mhm.
I don't know.
That's how I read it. And then like,
Yeah.
hope nobody finds out. Let's just not talk about it, basically. Like,
Yeah. It didn't happen. Let's get away. In response, Ms. Rose said, I never found myself in a situation that is, I just don't know that I'm going to be able to look up from. And I'm a little frightened of you. I really am. Brooks said, sweet baby, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine that. That makes me frightened of you. What? In this phone conversation, Ms. Rowe explains that it would be difficult to work with Brooks again, to which Brooks said, I'm asking you to work together forever and you have a place here as long as you want it. I'm lucky to have you. I don't want this to go anywhere, and I don't want something to happen in the moment to screw the whole 20 years I've known you. Again,
I mean,
this is
it really,
supposedly a year after the Las Vegas incident, and all of a sudden he starts talking about it. In addition to phone calls, there are multiple text exchanges between Brooks and Miss Rowe, but while Miss Rowe was in a studio with Brooks to style his hair in 2020, Brooks, Jamie, can you do that word?
where are you at? Serendipit? Is
No.
it surreptitiously?
Surreptitiously took her phone and deleted most of the text messages that he had sent to her containing explicit sexual content. Oh, that's too bad. Oh.
Of course, right?
Oh, bummer. I think he caught him. He caught her. I think she caught him coming out of the shower and was embarrassed. It sounds more like something like that, or he thought it was the wife, and he came in and said, "Hey, honey," and oh my God, it's you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Sounds more like something like that.
It's kind of
But
what it sounds like to me too.
surreptitiously. Thank you, Island.
Yeah, surreptitiously.
No, they can't. Nope. Can't retrieve deleted text. We know that from Canton, Ohio, Massachusetts.
Well,
Eventually,
it's selective. Remember that.
Eventually, Miss Rowe was unable to continue working for Brooks, and she sought legal counsel about what had happened. Yeah, she didn't do it while she was working for it. In addition, in or about May 2021, Miss Rowe moved to Mississippi. When Miss Rowe counsel contacted Brooks and disclosed the fact that Miss Rowe was prepared to file a complaint in Caliphas to hold him accountable for his sexual assault and even shared a copy of the drafted Californian complaint with Brooks, he used the fact that Miss Rowe had dared to speak about the harm he forced on her as an opportunity to inflict even more harm and pain on Miss Rowe. Specifically, while pretending to be in discussion with Miss Rowe to resolve her legal claims against him, on September 13, 2024, Brooks filed a preemptive abusive complaint against Miss Rowe under the Declaratory Judgment Act in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi, North Division, entitled John Doe v. Jane Roe. That's the one we just read. Incredibly, in the abusive Mississippi action, Brooks labeled himself the victim and claimed that Miss Rowe was a lying extortionist who intended on destroying his professional reputation. Brooks alleged that she threatened to file her complaint in California only because Brooks first refused to give her a raise and pay for health insurance. The abusive Mississippi action by Brooks is a blatant attempt to further control and bully his sexual assault victim by utilizing his multimillionaire resources to game the legal system. As part of the lawsuits he filed against Ms. Rowe in desperation, Brooks simultaneously filed a motion to proceed under the pseudonym John Doe. The basis for this, as described by Brooks, was because he has a well-earned reputation as a decent and caring person, and therefore, if the sexual assault allegations are disclosed, he says it would create unavoidable damage to his family. Brooks is desperate to prevent his millions of fans from learning about the horrific things he has said and done to a junior female employee who did nothing to deserve such treatment. But our legal system is not in place to allow wealthy wrongdoers the ability to run workarounds on sexual assault victims who attempt to hold perpetrators accountable. Yet this is precisely what Brooks is trying to do in the abusive Mississippi action. But your legal system have a criminal system that is supposed to get even the wealthiest of the wealthy on grape. I actually think I don't know how it is in the US, but in Denmark, grape cases go through the system faster than most other things because it's such an intrusion on people's body. So, but you chose not to go to the criminal system. You chose to go to the civil system. That's funny how that legal system that shouldn't be a workaround for multimillionaires now is good enough to get you your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why did she go back for 5 years? Garth is our new angel. Gross. I'll have Garth on a Saturday if he wants to come. He's more than welcome. Call me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. Like, you work for this person for 5 years after all of this happened?
Yeah, she could just have left and nope, I'll stay here for 5 years.
And 5 years is a long time. Like,
yeah, and again,
a couple months, okay, whatever, you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but you're doing the dangling on his dangly bits, and then you just do the makeup right after. That's it's hard to imagine exactly how that works.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the reason she could be doing it too is maybe
I'm just gonna
she
go by those.
wanted, you're fine, wanted some type of relationship and he said no. I mean, it happens all the time, unfortunately, where people are vindictive. So I just feel like you have to see all the evidence as a whole and not just somebody's side of it, because we have been fooled before. That's for sure. There's a lot of stuff out there. Yeah, and I mean, she could have got another job. This wasn't like her end all be all. And then she had nothing going for her. I mean, makeup artists, hairstylists are, I mean, you're free to go work anywhere. And if you've worked for a celebrity, I mean, yeah.
Oh, I'm
You
thinking
know?
I'm getting a cold or something. I'm sneezing and my nose is running. If the statute of limitation, there's no criminal charges. They removed the statute of limitation on grape in California, I believe, after Weinstein.
Yeah. I think they did because a lot of people came out of the woodwork.
Yeah. A good makeup and hair artist are very cherished. I know that, what's his name? Nerdrotic's wife did a lot of hair and makeup on people till the coup came and was quite famous. Well, not famous, but did a lot of famous people's hair. As set forth below, Ms. Rowe commences this action pursuant to California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-up Accountability Act, AB 2777, because her claims are based on conduct that occurred on or after January 1st, 2009, and commenced after January 1, 2019, seen California Code Civil Procedures 340.16. Ms. Rowe seeks all appropriate relief to redress Brooks' egregious and unlawful actions in violation of common law, torts for assault and battery, and in violation of California state statutes for sexual battery, California Civil Code 1708-5, the Bain Act, Civil Code 52.1, the Ralph Act, Civil Code 51.7, and Gender Violence California Civil Code 52.4, for those of you who want to read up on them. Plaintiff Jane Rowe is an adult citizen and resident in the state of Mississippi. Defendant Garth Brooks is an adult citizen and resident of the state of Tennessee. The court has jurisdiction over this action pursuant to California Code of Civil Procedures 410.10. Jane Rowe seeks damages under the statutory and common law of the state of California. Probably one of the best states to get that in. Venue is proper for this court pursuant to California Code of Procedure 395 because acts and transitions described herein occurred within this county. Facts common to all causes of action. Background, Garth Brooks. And then it's just his blah, 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 his CV. Charities, foundations, Habitat for Humanity. Jamie works for Habitat of Humanity. Brooks' wife, Miss Yearwood, has publicly said about Brooks' volunteer work with Habitat of Humanity the following: with God, generous is the word that comes to mind. He really takes joy in helping others. I think Habitat fits him perfectly because it gives him a chance to do all the things that he's just so good at naturally. So this is just filler for when he talked about building stuff, helping children, building houses. In 2024, Brooks performed on Mother's Day at the Vatican as part of the World Meeting on Human Fraternity. organized under the theme of Be Human in an atrium of St. Peter's Basilica. In a connection with his performance at President Biden's 2021 inauguration, Brooks said it was about reaching across and loving one another. So, as these allegations demonstrate, there's nothing loving, safe, or charitable about what Brooks subjected Miss Rowe. What the F? He's a really stand-up guy, but he swings ladies by the ankles. Miss Rowe is a professional makeup artist and hairstylist who has worked in the music industry for more than 30 years. Her work garnered her a loyal list of clients, many of whom are household names, but she still couldn't make it work. Through her hard work, skills, and dedication, Miss Rowe has performed the hairstyling and makeup for celebrities, appearing in countless publications such as Rolling Stones, Vanity Fair, InStyle, Esquire, and Nash Magazine. Additionally, she has received numerous credits in advertising campaigns involving top celebrities and brands, and for her work in television commercials and film. Throughout her career, Ms. Rowe has collaborated with many of the top professional photographers in the world. Unfortunately, in late 2018, the pressure on Ms. Rowe to provide financial support for her family increased, and she needed to take on as much work as she could handle. Ms. Rowe shared her financial challenges with Mr. Brooks and his wife. Brooks breathes on Ms. Rowe's hardship. As part of her work for Brooks, Ms. Rowe traveled to stadiums for concerts, such as to Notre Dame as part of his tour in October 2018, and to studios for filming for commercials and interviews, such as in December 2018 to New York City for the CBS Morning Show.
How much hair does he have that she's got to be in tow for? He wears a hat all the time, doesn't he?
Jamie, what are you doing on this awesome Saturday? I've been kissing fishies. When I catch them, can I use your cricket for bait?
No.
I don't like Laura anymore.
Oh, Laura.
Yeah.
That's
Jamie
sad
feels
to
you.
hear. That's sad
Praise.
to hear.
You're correct, Beth. It's I need my glasses to read these small texts. But yeah, he's bald. He got hair
I thought
transplant.
he was. Oh, but
He
I
has
mean,
almost no hair.
still. It's not like she's doing a full face of makeup or anything.
No, this did allegedly happen in 2019. And Dave, you are a young, spry man compared to me. Have you ever? Well, he's 6 foot. Have you ever hold Lena by the ankles and violently thrust into her so hard that her back hit your body? Because I can't figure out how to do that. I have been single for too long.
I don't know. I don't care who you are. How is that possible for real in real life? Come on, guys.
I can't. I don't know. Have you seen what this lady looks like? No, unless her Garth Brooks kept her name out of it. Remember Garth's alter ego, Chris Gaines? It's called the Pinata. I need to try that.
You need to have Dave come up here and explain it. Jesus Christ.
I don't read sex. No. She often performed work for him at the home he shared with his wife. Who needs makeup at home? Brooks intentionally fondled, grappled, and kissed his wife in close physical proximity to Miss Rowe in a way that made Miss Rowe feel extremely uncomfortable.
Why'd you say?
Yeah, why didn't you say, hey guys, I really like that after 13 years of marriage, you're still fond of each other, but this is a workplace. Is it okay? Maybe keep the public displays of affection to a minimum. Okay.
Yeah.
In addition, Brooks would tell Miss Rowe that he thought it was hard to see his wife be with another woman sexually, and implied that she could be the other woman. Although it was disturbing, she did not respond to these suggestions. Miss Rowe had worked for Miss Yearwood since 1999 and worried that Miss Yearwood would hear things he was saying to Miss Rowe and to be upset with her, even though, of course, such behavior was initiated by Mr. Brooks. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
For example, Brooks openly talked about sexual subjects in front of Miss Rowe, including cunnilingus. Brooks regularly changed his clothing. We know that purposely. In 2019, when she was in Brooks' home to do his hair and makeup, Miss Rowe.
They added in there. Knowingly, she would respond with a look of horror and disgust.
Oh yeah, well that was in there before as well.
I missed that part. Jesus.
Set up her supplies in his bathroom as usual, but while she was setting up, Brooks started taking a shower in front of her, then came out naked with an erection pointed directly at Miss Rowe.
Wait a second. Wait. Okay, if he started taking a shower,
yeah,
why don't
leave.
you just leave? Why are you still in there?
It's like this. I choose you.
I can't be here. Oh my god. I can't take this seriously.
In shock, before she knew what to do, he grabbed her hands and forced them onto his erect peni. Disgustingly, Brooks said that he wanted her to go down on him, and he said he had fantasies of her going down on him with her glasses on, and him spewing all over her face. At this event, Brooks continued to repeat this particularly sexual fantasy to Miss Rowe, as well as other fantasies he had about her. Again, she's at least 45 years old. I know men, even though I'm not I'm not more than 27 years old. I'm pretty sure there's probably more of a chance of him thinking about the Haktue girl than a 45, 55-year-old woman. I'm just saying.
Are you saying
Not that
us 45, the 45-year-old woman is not?
I'm just saying that I'd like to see her. I'll just say that, because she must be absolutely a banger if you do all this. I'm not going to read it, but I was thinking the same thing, Coffee Nut. Brooks sent Miss Rose sexual explicit text messages and pressured her to engage in sexting with him. Show your husband. Get him beat up and say, I'll find someone else to work for because I am so good at my job. Everyone wants to work with me. Don't just say, I need the money. Brooks sent Miss Rose sexual explicit text messages and I read that. On too many occasions to list. Brooks would lasciviously stare at Miss Rowe's breasticles and pressure Miss Rowe to open her shirt to allow him to physically touch her breasticles. This is just repeat. I come in gallons. The sexual assault.
What?
Didn't you hear that? When he comes in gallons.
Oh my God, these are crazy things to say to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my.
I mean, at his age, no, I don't think so.
Sea of green in here. Well, everyone's green almost. Does her lawyer doubles as a romance novelist? That's why I wanted Jamie on. I need Mo on too, because those are the two ladies I know who reads most dirty novels.
I mean, this is pretty lightweight, but it's
Have you ever had any novels with the pendulum?
not yet. I'm sure it's a thing though.
Let's see if any of these other women's come out. That's going to be interesting, because he effed multiple women in every corner of a hotel room.
Mhm.
I wonder how the judge is going to read all of this. Will he take it into his chambers alone under advertisement? It's not that interesting. I've read better. On April 30th to May 1st, 2019, Ms. Rowe traveled to San Francisco with Mr. Brooks to do his hair and makeup styling for an event. On May 11th, what does what does this have to do with anything? They traveled to San Francisco. And then
Okay.
on May 11th,
Yeah,
something is missing.
why add in that
Paragraph
30th to the
66 is not anything. On May 11, Brooks asked her to work in LA for a tribute show for Sam Moore. They left in the early morning hours from Nashville and arrived in LA and went directly to the hotel. They were the only two passengers on his private jet, which was unusual. Once in LA at the hotel, Miss Rowe was shocked to learn that he had booked only one hotel room and she did not have a separate room. When she dared to ask if she could have a separate room, he said no. Brooks wanted her isolated and alone because he knew exactly what he was going to do to her. This sounds like a movie. No other employees was on this trip for the same reason. Brooks planned his attack well in advance. Suddenly, to her horror, Brooks was standing in the doorway to the bedroom without clothes on. Brooks' fantasy about sexually violating Miss Rowe while she had her glasses on was about to happen. Whew.
What? I mean,
Is the word concupiscence part of the allegation? Concupiscence, concupiscence.
what is what are these words?
I haven't seen it so far, Zach. It's probably a dirty word that I just said that. Are we still getting Sarah Boone in 45 minutes? That's tomorrow. Didn't I set it up for tomorrow?
You did, I
I
think.
did. So Fedorowski is just pulling my leg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to check and double check because Fedorowski
It
never
said-
lies.
It said the 6th. So
Yeah, October 6th. Fedorowski, you pipper.
you rascal.
Read your Bible, Baker. It's in there. Not in my version. Yeah, she could get a job at Supercuts.
Yeah, but if she has a long client list of
Yeah, she works with all the big
household
names, all the
names,
photographers.
cutting one off is not going to kill you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to share it, Iris.
What?
Iris just sent me some pictures of. Yeah, but I'm still not going to put her website out there because I don't know for sure. I'm not going to spread it. Her reputation precedes her. Otherwise, she would be in demand by other artists. Yeah. Can we get Fort Brooks back? Nope. Also, the tendency for humans to sin. Ardent longing, lust. Oh. I have that. Brooks grabbed her hands and pulled her into the other room and onto the bed. Miss Rowe, less than 5 feet and about 100 pounds, was no physical match for Brooks, who is 6 feet, weighs almost 300 pounds, and regularly lifts weights. Brooks' grave of Miss Rowe was painful and traumatic, having no regard for her well-being and intent on his own sexual gratification at the expense of Miss Rowe's physical, mental, and emotional trauma. At some point during the nightmare, Brooks even held her small body upside down by her feet and penetrated her. She was helpless to move from his grip and terrified at what was
Right.
happening to her while he held her upside down, dangling by her ankles. All the blood rushed to her head, causing her to be dizzy and sick. Brooks said perverted things to Miss Rowe about his sexual prowess. Brooks also repeatedly slammed his peni into her JJ, causing Miss Rowe's back to hit his body over and over and over and over with such force she felt as if he was
Was she
breaking her in
She was
two.
backwards. Wait,
That's the part I can't figure out because
he was
it's been
holding
a-
her butt to him, like butt to him.
he was holding her by the ankles,
Okay,
penetrating
dangling her
vajayjay.
in the air.
Yeah, while penetrating her vajayjay so hard
No,
that her.
how would you get in there from that position?
That's why I'm saying that's for all those young active people to tell me,
No.
because I'm too vanilla for that.
I can't imagine. How would you? That would be so. There would be no consistency. Either.
No, and as I said again, he would have had to stand like this.
But he would have to be. I'm not gonna start.
You can't do it. It's
No, because you can't. Like, how do you get in there? And then how do you stay in there?
you know John Dillermand, the Danish kid thing, the penile guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it's like that. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
okay.
you need at least a good 20, 25 inches to do it that way. And it has to be very flexible.
Wouldn't it have to like curve? Like, but it's still, no.
You could
And
not
why
get in the
didn't
V.
she,
It would
like,
hurt
she
his
could have
knee.
kicked her legs and instantly been let go. I mean, that's heavy to have to hold up for a long period of time.
That's what I'm saying. I can do farmer's walk with maybe 200 pounds, but that's down by my sides where they're just hanging and I just move. I couldn't keep two 50-pound dumbbells strict up in the air, especially with the weight distribution of that one. Do you know how hard it is to keep your arms up like this? Strongmen, when they stand out here to lock it out, they don't even go up here. It's so stupid.
Mm-hmm. And I guarantee if he had him all the way up, she was going to be up a lot higher. So then.
Yeah, because again, she's less than 5 feet and he's 6 feet. How much is that's like a head difference?
He would
right?
be at her. Yeah, because like think about it. He'd probably
So-
be at her like yeah.
So if he should
And then he doesn't have flat washboard abs, I'm sure.
no,
So
he's
then-
300 pounds. He's
Yeah,
60,
okay.
58 at the time.
Then you have to take into account that your belly's going to be in the way for all that.
Yeah,
That
everyone
just
knows
seems
how I
like
like it. Apparently, I
That
like
is
the
such a
bend
crazy story.
But I can't in any physical way see how you can do that, especially when going into the vajayjay and then her back hitting him.
Well, yeah.
Because if you go in front pocket, wouldn't you slam into?
But even if, regardless if you're back or front, I mean, if you're back, obviously it's going to be, it's a lot more difficult because it's up farther. But even even the same way, like you still have to be like, you have to be like down.
Yeah, again, I have to have another bender and try to turn it around and see if the math things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bad back. Brooks insisted that Miss Rowe wear her eyeglasses. Again, upside down, she has her eyeglasses on. While he's shaking her.
And if her face is turned the opposite way, like you can't see it.
While he carried out his sexual fantasy, demonstrating that he had thought about doing this far in advance of May 11th, 2019 trip. Well, did he say, remember to bring your glasses on the trip or else?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing exactly what he was doing and the pain he was forcing her to endure against her will, at one point Brooks even said to Miss Rowe that he knew he was hurting her. Disgustingly, this only caused him to drop her from the upside-down position and force her over to a small love seat where, after placing her face down, Brooks engaged in other acts too graphic to include in this complaint. Why is it too graphic? This is a lawsuit, buddy. You want all the monies, but you won't include the acts you want tort payment for. That makes absolutely no sense.
Well, you're describing things that are graphic also.
Yeah, but this is too graphic.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So, again, this is perfectly fine. Then I'm thinking, how can you step that up on a love seat? Is she doing the spinner? Is it a spinner Rooney like Booker T used to do? I can't figure out what's more graphic. Thank you, Watcher. Yeah, too graphic. I can't make up another image. This is just salacious. Good grief, how is anything too graphic after everything we already put in this? I don't know. They want us to read book 2, probably.
Mm.
Just go get your husband and ask him if he could just show you how to do it. Well, that's not as graphic as keeping her upside down while forcefully. That's kind of vanilla. Yeah. Can we see a picture of how you supposedly said this happened? Well, the back door isn't as still, in my opinion, as bad as being hung by the ankles upside down.
Yeah.
That's not too graphic to put in. Trust me, as one who have sat through a few lawsuits where sexual acts were performed against people's will, I have heard worse things than just a little vajayjay. Let's just say dry granule grape isn't that nice to hear about, but still, I would think shaking someone upside down is worse than that.
And if you're going to do something like that, you need participation from the other person.
Yeah.
Because to try to get in, because you're going to have to try to work together to get that angle.
The dead weight you will be carrying, because she is not a willful participant.
Yeah.
I could probably.
And she's just sitting there letting him do it and not saying, get the F off of me or anything. Like, I mean, because you'd have the fight from somebody who's not a willing participant.
That's what I'm thinking. I have that. She's a skinny little one, my gym buddy. She's a little over 50 kilos, so that's a little over 100 pounds. I could try and pick her up by the legs. I could probably get her.
You should, just for science.
But shaking her, I don't think I could do that.
Well, it's really not about shaking her. It's getting it in there somehow.
Well, I'm pretty sure her husband wouldn't like me trying that part of it.
and like keeping it in there.
He would definitely not like that part.
And
And
I think
Jamie,
that's the most, like, that's the craziest way to try to grape somebody.
yeah,
You could just,
I have to do an extensive search on the internet tonight to see if I can find any similar acts. Eileen is reminding us, don't laugh. This is serious. We are bad people.
yeah, we are bad people. That's why I didn't want to show my face, because I was like laughing. I'm sorry.
And Iris is
It's
reminding us, nothing worse than someone who just lies there.
just,
There's no starfish in this relationship.
yeah, really though.
But yeah, I have a lot of internet searching to do when we're done with this. I'm thinking I have to go incognito when I start searching for these kind of acts.
You might have to.
I'm sure your gym buddy hubby would not want you to do it. No, I think he's probably
them
fine
it's
with me.
for
Well, I think
science.
he's fine if I pick her up and drop her on her head, but not the insertion parts. With cold disregard for Miss Rowe, when Brooks was finished, it was business as usual for Brooks, and Miss Rowe worked quickly to style his hair and do his makeup for the event. Miss Rowe was physically ill and already in pain by the time they flew back to Nashville. In fact, a migraine had already started. You had just been violently raped and you got a migraine. Again, AH claimed that JD forced one of these bottles so far up that the bottle hit her pubic bone, and she didn't need a doctor.
Mm.
I called BS on that one. I actually bought this bottle of Maker's Mark because of that case. It's pretty good. In the weeks after this horrific violence, she experienced deliberating pain in her neck and lower back, which she sought medical treatment for. In addition, she had to seek treatment for her OBGYN for damages Brooks caused during the rape. Oh, they can call that into the court. Sadly, during the summer of 2019, the trauma from Brooks' rape became so unbearable for Miss Rowe that she planned to self-delete. She felt hopeless and did not see how she would move past what had happened. Fortunately, she did not act on her thoughts and managed to continue to keep showing up and earning money to support her family. She knew that she should not say anything to Brooks or anyone who worked for him about what he had done. Why not? This is
Why?
why when Brooks asked her to work with him at another job in LA, she still agreed to go. In October 28, 2019, Brooks had Miss Rowe travel with him back to Califas for 5 days of work. On this trip back to LA for 5 days, Miss Rowe was terrified to be in a hotel room with him again, worried that he would force himself on her again. Fortunately, other employees were on the trip and in close proximity within the hotel. However, this did not stop Miss Brooke from repeatedly squeezing, touching, and groping her testicles anytime he could. Brooks even made Miss Rowe open her shirt to expose her breasticles to him for this purpose of his own gratification. For the purpose of his own gratification. Her fears that he would subject her to unwanted smacks was justified, as one morning when Miss Rowe went to Brooks' room to do his hair and makeup, he was on the bed face down, wearing loose shorts and holding his crotch. The way he looked at her, Miss Rowe understood he was making it clear that he wanted to do what he had done on May 11.
Exactly.
She's a mind reader. She is a mind reader. Because the way he looked at her was what said, "Hey there, Tom. We have a little thing you need to try with Sarah next time you visit her." Yeah, or maybe the police, maybe. And she
Yeah.
went along. How the hell are you face down holding your crotch? Well, you can do that, but why?
Will anybody see it? No. Like.
Brooks was filming The Road I'm On in 2019. They were following him on tour as a documentary series. No chance they traveled alone. You will have to explain how he made you do all this stuff. Yeah, because you were a willing participant because you were so scared and you could never leave, even though you were not forced to stay with him, and it happened over a 5-year period.
Yeah, and you didn't like live with the guy. He kept asking you to go on jobs, and you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Baker, go
Right.
first, face down, make us see that. Jamie, can you see me looking at you now? I'm looking, Jamie. You see it, Jamie? Look in my eyes.
Jesus Christ. It take you a minute to get up.
Did you feel it, Jamie, the way I looked at you while I was face down?
I did. Oh yeah, I did. Ooh.
And people pay to go to the movies when they can stay with us. She narrowly escaped another sexual assault because he was running late and other people were waiting to pick him up. So nothing happened. He did not hide. He was angry and upset with Miss Rowe for not allowing her to sexually violate her. But he never said. And then we're back to he increased the frequency. He implied the groping would continue despite she didn't want it.
He
They already
implied, or
stated all of
he
this
actually. Okay.
But it's just the same and the same and the same. Now we're back to the shampoo female pleasure and the text messages. Why are we getting it twice? Yeah, that's the weird breaking into the jewelry store. All of this we had before. Although Brooks thought he deleted everything on Miss Rowe's phone, he did not, and some texts remain, including those in which he encouraged Miss Rowe to speak in a sexualized manner to him, such as this message referring to his huge stick.
Well,
Warm fact, and that huge stick you carry, Roosevelt. I'll take that nickname. Thank you. I love you. And that huge stick you carry, Roosevelt. So she put the huge stick out there, and he said, thank you. So he forced her to say the huge stick.
yeah, but what does that really mean? Like, I feel like that's could be taken out of context.
Yeah.
And plus, we can't see the rest of it, so.
Yeah, and again, hers are the first one.
Yeah, and she said it first.
Yeah. Based on the information set forth above, which is a sampling of some but not all of the acts Mr. Brooks subjected her to, it is obvious why he resorted to such a drastic measure as filing the abusive Mississippi action. We have read that too once. First course of action. Miss Rowe incorporates herein by reference as though sets forth in full all preceding paragraphs in this complaint. Intentionally and without consent cause harmful or offensive contact with Miss Rowe, including by intentionally bringing her to California for work in 19 and purposely isolating her from other employees. There was no other employees on the first trip, and on the second trip, she was not in his room alone, only. She came to his room. So he didn't do it. Brooks ensured ahead of the time that he would force Miss Rowe to share a hotel suite with him there. As detailed above, he subjected her to unwanted sexual intercourse and sexually assaulted and raped her for his own sexual gratification. As a result, Ms. Rowe has suffered and will continue to suffer mental and physical pain and suffering. Second course of action. Ms. Rowe incorporates herein by reference, as though set forth in full, all preceding paragraph of this complaint. Committed a battery against plaintiff when he engaged in unlawful, intentionally and offensive touching or application of force to plaintiff's person when he forced her to engage in smacks against her will. Brooks ensured ahead of time that he would force Miss Rowe to share a hotel suite with him when he was isolated. Hey, Flux Raiders. Welcome, Flux Raiders. Flux, you have to help me out. I know this is not your home field, but she was held by her ankles upside down, restricting her ability to move or fight back in any manner.
Ma'am.
Brooks
No.
penetrated her vajayjay with his pee-pee and subjected her to forced moral smacks against her will. That's the first time we heard about that one.
Mm.
Brooks did this for his own sexual gratification. Flux, can you figure out how you can hold someone by the ankles? And I know, again, this is not your specialty, but and then the PP in the vajayjay, because Jamie and I, we are too vanilla. We are too old. We are too accustomed to our own ways. It's I don't know how.
I don't know how an old, out of shape man
Holds a
some
100-pound woman by the ankles,
and
bangs her
then
so hard
finds a way to get in there.
while her back is to him, slamming so hard into him that she has back and neck pains. It's Nicola, that's say it's hey honey, it's Saturday today. That's Saturday of the month, and see if you can make it happen. I think there's more likelihood one of you breaks something than anything fun happens.
Well, like I said, it would be a two-man job. You would have to have cooperation with each other, not
again
an unwilling participant she couldn't fight to get away because he had her. Really?
I could have if she was leaning on a love seat and he was holding her legs up, then maybe. But free dangling.
Well, she was free dangling because if she was slapping against his body, she had to be free dangling.
Yeah.
And if
someone must have
hit his body so hard that she has now neck pains and back issues. Like
I'm not even sure legal vices can explain this one. It's I think our next panel show will be sexual positions where you hold people by the ankles. And exactly, that's one of the problems. And the front pocket is in front, not on the back side. That's the back pocket. So how? Neither do we, Flux, and we have been reading this for almost a little over 2 hours, and none of us has figured out how you hold a woman just like a head lower than you by the ankles when you're a 58-year-old man. Hold her by the ankles and
stop.
But at least when he comes, it's in gallons.
In gallons.
Yeah.
No, nobody. Who comes?
No.
Just
plaintiff did not act freely or voluntarily, and the actions were against plaintiff's will, as defined in California Penal Code. And he, in subjecting her to pain and trauma, he committed rape against plaintiff, incapable of resisting because of Brooks' sheer physical size and strength as compared to Ms. Rowe, As a result of defendant's alleged conduct, plaintiff has suffered severe physical harm, emotional distress, humiliation, embarrassment, anxiety, economic harm, and other consequential damages. The conduct of defendant Brooks described above was willful, wanton, and malicious. At all relevant times, defendant acted with consciousness, disregarded of plaintiff's rights and feelings, acted with knowledge of or with reckless disregard for the facts that his conduct was certain to cause injury and or humiliation to plaintiffs, and intended to and did cause fear, physical injury, and or pain and suffering to plaintiff. By virtue of the foregoing, plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive and exemplary damages from defendants according to proof at trial. This course of action is timely under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-up Accountability Act AB 2777 because it's based on conduct that occurred on or after January 1st, 2009 and is commenced after January 1st, 2019. That's lucky that it's just 4 months after that. And is thereby revised by California Code Civic Procedure 340.16. Third course of action. Ms. Rowe incorporates her in all the things before. Defendant Brooke committed a sexual battery under California's Civil Code when he intended to and did cause harmful and or offensive contact with intimate parts of Ms. Rowe, and his sexually offensive contact included when he forced her to engage in sex against her will. Brooks ensured ahead of time that he would force Ms. Rowe to share a hotel. That's the same we have read already. Brooks held her by her ankles upside down, restricting her ability to. It's the same we just read. But it's just blah, blah, blah. How can you. Well, it's the law. And fourth course of action. At all relevant times, Brooks interfered or attempted to interfere by threat, intimidation, or coercion, or by physical force with Ms. Rowe's exercise and enjoyment of her right to be free from sexual assault and sex discrimination as secured by the laws in California. As a result, Ms. Rowe has suffered and will continue to suffer. Fifth course of action. At all relevant times and on May 11th, Brooks committed a violent act against Ms. Rowe motivated by her sex by penetrating her vajayjay with his pee-pee without her consent, in that he would not and could not have committed the same violence against a man. That's homophobic. No, transphobic. And that violent act was a substantial factor in the resulting physical and mental harm suffered by Ms. Rowe. He committed rape, unwanted moral sex, subjected her to unwanted forced sexual groping, touching, squeezing of her breasticles, forced exposure of her breasticles to him for his sexual gratification. Sixth course of action. At all relevant times, defendant Brooke committed a rape in purpose of arousal, gratification, and abuse against her will and by force, oral smacks, unwanted touching, continue to suffer. Prayer for relief. Therefore, plaintiff prays that the court enter judgment in her favor and against defendant Brooks for following relief: for monetary and or compensatory damages, for punitive damage, and exemplary damages according to proof and pursuant to Civil Code 1708.5. Attorney fees for cost of suit herein incurring, and for such other and further reliefs as the court may deem proper. Plaintiff hereby demands a trial by jury on all triable issues. Jamie, what do you think?
We'll see. I mean, I can imagine if she has text messages, maybe there was inappropriate text messages. But to keep coming back when you're saying you have a big clientele, like, I wouldn't even deal with this man anymore. And honestly, a lot of this stuff is very criminal. Why are we not, you just ask for money versus, I would want this man prosecuted. That's just my opinion. Especially this wasn't like, she wasn't some underage person. She was a grown woman. So that's just my opinion.
I would need to see the text messages.
Yeah.
That little snippet we saw, all the text transcribed, none of it said, "I'm so sorry that I hung you by the ankles and swung you around in California." It's way later. It's not related to anything. He never, in the transcripts, never mentions the alleged subject they are talking about. And it's just some boilerplate. Well, I don't want to lose you, and because it could just as well be, hey, I'm really struggling. Can you put me on a salary because our medical is running out, or else I'll have to go work at Walmart. I don't want to lose you, but I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, she isn't a midget. She's 5 feet tall. You think this makes it to a jury, or do you think he might settle out of court? Well, as I read first, he countersued before she sued him. He wanted this kept out of the public eye because he claims it's all BS. No, he sued because she tried to blackmail. Her lawyers reached out to him and said, "We're gonna leak this if you don't pay us millions." That's the first part of what we read today. Was his lawsuit alleges that roughly 2 months ago, her lawyers started reaching out to him and saying, "We are gonna release these things to the public if you don't pay for what you did." And then they leaked some of it, and then came back and said, "How about you pay us now?" And then he filed a motion to squash. It's always cheaper and easier to settle. Yeah, but
especially celebrities, like your reputation's at stake too, though, because it's out there.
They actually specific mentions that in her filing. Let me find it again. Let me read this to you again. For those of you who weren't here from the beginning. Soon after moving to Mississippi, defendant apparently encountered financial difficulties and asked plaintiff for financial assistance. Plaintiff complied out of loyalty, friendship, and a desire to improve defendant's condition, but defendant's demand for financial assistance only increased, with defendant ultimately asking plaintiff of salaried employment and medical benefits. When plaintiff advised he could not agree to defendant's demands for salaried employment and medical benefits, she responded with false and outrageous allegations of sexual misconduct. Specifically, on July 17, 2024, an attorney acting at defendant's direction sent plaintiff and others with whom plaintiff professionally works an ostensibly confidential demand letter alleging a litany of sexual misconduct by plaintiff, ranging from allegation of grooming, creation of sexually hostile work environment, unwanted sexual touching, and sexual assault. Defendant also alleged a belief that plaintiff planned to hire someone to unalive her. She didn't mention that in the other part. The July 17 demand letter was the first time plaintiff learned of these allegations, none of which have any basics in facts. Defendant threatened in the July 17 demand letter to publicly file an enclosed draft civil complaint against plaintiff, repeating the same fabricated allegation unless plaintiff agreed to pay defendant millions of dollars to not file the suit. The letter referred to various celebrity sexual misconduct lawsuits featuring multi-million-dollar jury awards. So that seems weird that you would put that in a letter, because why wouldn't you just file a lawsuit? Why would you go after him and say, well, we're going to release this if you don't sign the papers? In a follow-up letter dated August 23, defendant, through her attorney, offered to refrain from publicly filing her false and defamatory lawsuit against plaintiff in exchange for a multi-dollar payment. She threatened that if plaintiff failed to meet this demand, he would face exposure of many millions of dollars based on his network. So to me, that if that's true, and they must have these letters because they're sent by lawyers. Thanks for today. Well, thank you, Jamcracker, for being here for 7 months. Everyone else is doing it. Thank you so much, Jamcracker, for gifting 5 Broken Banker memberships to Andrea Clark. Shaw Force, haven't seen him in a bit. Hear that? This is Flaming Dragon. What? This is Flaming Dragon and Hills of Western Massachusetts. I think that's Massachusetts. Thank you so much, Jamcracker. But I just think when I read that, and again, if you put that in a filing, you have that to bring to the judge. To me, that makes this seem more likely to be some kind of money grab than. And again, why you're filing in California, who changed the law so you can go criminal with this, but you went straight for
Yeah,
the wallet.
because this is less than 10 years.
That wasn't her text. They were from a different woman. Look back, you'll see. I couldn't. Now I've closed it. But I believe you. Vince Clothrow, funny show. Thanks. Thanks for being a member for 5 months. Yeah, again, she's hurting so bad, but she just really wants justice. Why didn't she go to the police? And why didn't she feel a need to do anything about it until now? That's one of those things that always annoys me with these celebrity lawsuits. No matter how late it's the same problem I have with the Diddy thing. Those 120 civil suits that's coming now, how many of those are within the last 5 years? Within the last 10 years? It's always, someone brought up Kavanaugh, and I can't remember, that was what, 30 years ago they claimed he did something, and all of a sudden they just remembered it when he was it's just a little too convenient. And again, I'm not saying well, I can say after having read the 2 lawsuits, I want to see all the material they claim they have, and I want to see it in the context it was given, because those message parts that was cut out, to me, they put it in a context that had to do with it. But I couldn't read that when I read the text. It was more like, yeah, I don't want to lose you. You're a great worker. It wasn't, oh my God, I gave you the piñata. I'm so sorry.
Well, yeah, he was, SAing her. I mean, come on. And, well, I agree. And she didn't live with the guy. It wasn't like she was tied to him in any way other than working for him when he asked her.
She left the state.
So she was gone. She lived back in a different state.
Yeah.
And if this man is doing something like this to you, the last thing I would do when he calls me up to come work for him, knowing that this is going to happen, and I'd be like, hell no. Like, you need to find somebody else.
Because California changed their law, so they are very, very, very good to sue someone for sexual assault in. And that's why they have the planning, because then you have the illegal transportation of her to California, and you have all the incidents happening there. It's just your jokes, Jamie. Well, I don't know if there was even smacks in it, but yeah, there might have been some, at least a little touching here and there, but that's not in California. So all of the stuff that didn't happen in California should be thrown out or filed in Tennessee. But because the laws in California is way more beneficial to a lawsuit of this kind, of course they're going to sue there. But they claim they have all this evidence, and it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Michelle Smith from Australia. Hanky Panky is fine. California hates Hanky Panky. Yeah. But again, if they must also have her, if they have those demand letters, and they must have them when they file it in the lawsuit, send that to the judge and say, this is clearly extortion. I don't know the name of her. I don't know anything about her. So, yeah, she has the burden of proof. Bring it. And again, everyone can clip everything. Just go. That's the funny thing about all the Smurfs in the Karen Reed case, where they're always snippeting out stuff 35 different places in a conversation and say, put it together and say, see, she said that. No, you have to have the context. And again, I can send Jamie a message where we're talking about something, and any way she frames it can be seen as I would like to show you all the DMs I have, but it's most I'm going to kill you if you don't work harder from Jamie. So sadly, that's all I get from her. When I say day off, when you're dead, you can have a day off. Okay, Jamie. Poll, 85 votes. What do you think? They had a thing, now she wants money. That's 49%. She lies, 29%. Why doesn't she go to the police? 17%. He did it, 3%. I think I'm agreeing with the poll that something happens and now she want to get paid.
And it's the money part that bothers me a little bit,
Yeah.
because those are horrendous claims, and I would want this man in prison.
Yeah. I don't know anything but I have friends in low places. I don't even know that one. Okay. Well, thank you, Nanya. I didn't. Yeah, now you're saying it. I didn't notice they said that. But then, how did she know what size of stick he was carrying around? Again, it sounds a little too. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. He got friends in upside down places. I don't know. It's a cray world. It's a cray suit. We will keep an eye on it. Jamie, other than that, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
At 4 p.m. will the June be doing her crafting thing on the Discord?
June. Yeah, we got crafts and chattiness with Danny and June at 4 p.m. Eastern in the Discord.
at 4 p.m. Eastern on the Discord. Chat and craft, mostly chat. It's you don't have to craft to be there. Jamie will be in there talking about that time when she met that young strapping sailor, and he said, "Can I try this move on you?" And he called it the helicopter, but instead of him doing it with his, he was just flapping her around in the air. It's a weird story. She loves to tell it in Discord. So please join the Discord and be there for chat and crafting at 4 p.m. Eastern. Jamie might not tell the story. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., Jedi Jess and I will be talking about Sarah Boone, getting ready to the week of Boone. We will be looking at her defense strategy. Jedi Jess has been looking at what does it take to get Barrett Spout syndrome to work, and what would it take to get a DV to work. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Maybe we'll keep it going long enough so you can be on the Discord for movie night at 6 p.m., where the movie is.
You have it listed as 2 p.m.
As I said, we'll be doing it at 2 p.m. and then at 4 p.m. movie night. Jamie, you should listen to me. What are we
I'd
watching
try
tomorrow,
and help
Jamie?
you.
What are we watching
The Thing.
tomorrow?
The Thing.
The Thing. It's not that good a movie. It's a scary movie. I don't like scary
I've
movies.
never seen it.
And if you need something to do tomorrow morning when no one is streaming, Monsieur Le Federowski has a new video out. And if you like beautiful nature, great quality, please go check out Federowski's channel. He is criminally undersubbed. This guy makes some of the best content on the YouTubes. You should really go check out how it's just nature photography, showing Norway. It's just a beautiful country. Fooling around with his friend. Sometimes he might even pick him up by the ankles. But you should all go check him out. He makes wonderful content. And Zach Baker loves helping out small channels, except for Zach's. Do you have a channel, Zach? I would love to help you out if I knew you had a channel. What's your channel about? Fishing? Well, if you like La Lanas de Tuna, only one place on the internet can show you how to get into that can. And that's on Zach's channel. Zach is a master fisher. He hand baits every single time he goes out and throws his pole around. He can tell you all about the fish in the sea, even though there is no such thing as a fish, because the variety between the different species of fish is so big, you can't call it one species. That's why there is no such thing as a fish, but you can still learn how to hand catch all types of fish, especially bull sharks. That's his specialty. He had tried it twice, and since then he really haven't hand fished after them again. They call him Stumpy now.
That was a beautiful story.
I do great stories. Who has sand diabetes? Jellyfish are fish too. I know this. Jackie McGee, I will go to my refractory and Google a lot of this now.
Yeah, but I mean, with what we're trying to say too is this is not a way to, like, you would have to be a willing participant, both of you, to get it done.
Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure you can somehow, some way.
you can't produce the.
Yeah.
She would have had to have hold on to him and again be in a.
Yeah.
You could do something like this if she was holding on to him so you can get some traction. But
Jesus Christ. But to grape somebody that way, I find that unlikely.
That weight, you can't hold it like that. Jamie does have a YouTube channel. It's this channel. She runs it like
It's the Broken Baker.
like Patton ran the Second Armored during the Second World Kerfuffle. She said it was a different woman that had been with. She said that text message was from a different woman. She said she had been raped with him. So yeah. Hey, Trial TV. Trial TV is a newer channel who also cover trials. They have been covering the Quinton Nixon trial we been looking at too. Going on rerun. Also a place you can go and give a like and a sub. You need some talk. Corn Pope, you know it, I know it.
Yeah.
Especially, and again, in that position, the amount of times Minigard would bang against the outer walls, do you know how much that hurt?
Well, and like how shaky you would be trying to hold somebody up and do that at the same time. Like,
Yeah, it wouldn't be pleasurable
no,
in any way.
It's a lot of effort for little reward.
What am I going to do with the rest of the night? I'm going to lie on my couch and watch something for an hour, maybe two, and then I'll go to bed.
Yeah.
I think I'm jealous of anyone because I'm a 27-year-old virgin. It depends on how old the kid is. When the kid can stand and grab it at the table, I'll say probably don't do it. But that's just me. I have no, I'm not going to tell that story about I know someone who breastfed until they went to school at 6 years old. On that note,
Was
I
it
saw a
you?
taco. No, I breastfed for 14 days, and then my mom got sick, and everyone was so afraid. Oh, he didn't. No, yeah, 14 days. They had to put me on, give me yogurt and stuff like that, and everyone was, oh, you need to breastfeed for at least, I think back then it was 4 months, or the kid will never grow up. I filled out completely fine and more than enough. Jamie, love you, Simon. Bye.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All
right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.